April, and you are watching NELLY Event Personal Education Vlog number 8. And in this episode, we're going to talk about an extremely important subject: how emotions affect our body. Some people don't know that negative or positive emotions actually affect our body in a pretty dramatic way. Let's look at a few things to be aware of. Number 1, negative emotions can weaken our body, while positive emotions can actually strengthen our body. As you might know, there are two kinds of stress: positive stress and also negative stress. Now, the positive stress is more when you get really excited about something and you just can't contain that happiness, like winning a lot of money. Negative emotions, they usually occur because of some sort of situation in our lives that just whacks us out of balance. It can be a loss of a job or some kind of frustration in your life that you don't have a current solution for, and that causes a certain reaction. You can experience feelings like fear, emotional pain, some kind of suffering, and long-lasting stress leads to melancholy and depression. And of course, we want to avoid that kind of state. You're probably familiar with the phrase, "my heart is broken." Well, this is a very accurate term. Most of the time, this kind of situation is a result of losing a loved one, like a death of somebody you really care about, or a separation, or a rejection. Number 2, continuous stress can actually weaken our immune system and make us more vulnerable to infection. Negative emotions can actually cause heart problems, blood pressure, and serious digestive disorders. Continuous stress can be potentially very dangerous because what happens is that over time, your body gets weaker and weaker and it doesn't have a chance to heal itself. I highly encourage you to do your research because negative stress can potentially shorten your life. Number 3, sometimes people can actually feel a lump in their throat. It's usually caused by anxiety and fear. This can make you speechless and unable to communicate clearly. Have you ever noticed that when you get nervous or really stressed or scared, you literally can't speak? For me, I can tell you an interesting fact. I lose my English because it's not my first language, so if I'm really stressed out, I cannot communicate in English clearly, or even in Russian sometimes. It just becomes extremely challenging. Number 4, anger can be extremely dangerous and cause liver dysfunction, which basically means that your body won't be able to get rid of the toxins, and this is crucial to your health. Number 5 is butterflies in your stomach. Sometimes when you have that feeling, what happens, it actually affects your digestive system pretty strongly. And as a result, some people stop eating. They can't eat when they're stressed out. Some people do complete opposite and they start eating a lot. And of course, that results into very major digestive dysfunction. And number 6 is melancholy, which potentially can lead to depression. When people stop being excited about their lives, and this can be really traumatic for the whole body. So we need to be extremely mindful of all these effects that stress can cause to our body. We need to be able to identify the source of stress and heal ourselves, come back to that happy state, whatever it takes. There are ways to feel great despite of whatever situation happens in your life, because as you know, you can always take action to improve your situation. Now let's look at what actions you can take to release stress, to relieve stress, to feel better, to feel happy again. So many people are not exactly sure how to battle stress because there's so many different scenarios and there are so many different things that you can do, and some things work for you, some things don't work for you. But there are ways to restore yourself. One of them is to separate yourself from the source of pain. If we make an effort to improve something in our lives, then everything around us lines up for this to happen, and it becomes easier on us. And I really hope that you can discover this for yourself. It is so much easier not to be reminded of certain memories, of certain events in your life that you lived through. So definitely separating yourself and finding that happy place for yourself is very, very crucial. A lot of times, people just hold on to something so strong and they are not willing to open up to the idea that there's always a plan of happiness out there for every single one of us. When we are meant to make a difference in someone else's life, it can happen, and we don't need to force it because those people will actually come our way when the time is right. Stars align, and this happens only when we are complete, when we are happy. This attracts happy people into our lives, and as a result, we have this wonderful relationship. We're not rejected, we're understood and supported. This actually works extremely well. And if you try it, please leave me a comment below and let me know how that worked for you. What about when you have stress at work? This can be potentially very hard. You cannot just quit your job because this is what's paying the bills, right? It has to be a gradual process. But at the same time, you can always take a vacation, you can always take a sick day, or just a time off work that will help you to think about the situation you're living through and decide for yourself, do you really want to be a part of this kind of environment? Is there any way to fix it? And if not, maybe this job is not a great thing for you. Maybe you need to really look for something else. You can keep working there or take a break. That's why it's always great to have savings, because you never know what kind of a situation can occur in life. You need to be financially secure. This is an extremely important thing to work on. This way, you're not dependent on your job and you can actually work and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be around these people. You can always go and find something else where you come to work and you really feel like you're amongst your team, you're amongst your family, everybody loves each other, everybody's got each other's back, and that is possible. There is a right person for you, there is a right job for you, and you should not hold on to something that is not yours, because what is yours is going to be great and it's not going to cause you crucial stress. Because usually if somebody values you as an employee, they really create an environment for you where you can happily do your best, do your job the most efficient, the most productive way possible. There are also ways to actually heal yourself physically. You can exercise, right? So you can do any kind of physical activity because it's well-known fact, physical activity does miracles, not only to your health, but also to your emotional well-being. Listen to the uplifting kind of music. When you're heartbroken, it's really healing to listen to the song that talks about true love, because it gives you hope that everything can be great. When you lost someone, it's really great to listen to the song that has some kind of hope and a message that, you know, you lose people, but at the same time, there is a great way to remember those people and be grateful for them being a part of your life, and so on and so forth. Sure, some people say, well, I'm just gonna go get a drink and feel better. And then they end up having a drink after a drink because that drink wears off and you don't feel happier. Versus when you go and do something with your life to motivate yourself, to encourage yourself, that helps you to move on, move forward, open up, let happiness into your life, versus another option, which is a slippery slope. It makes you feel better for a short period of time, and then you feel sad again, and then during this time you can potentially make mistakes that you will regret. You might contact people you don't need to contact, you might say things you don't need to say, you might make a fool out of yourself, and so much more. You probably are so familiar with what people do when they are not fully owning their mind and heart, and they just let go, and it's not even being yourself, it's just being the worst version of yourself. Why not being the best version of yourself? Sure, it's so much harder. Sure, it takes so much effort. If you are a vulnerable person, maybe you will fall short for a short period of time and slowly start building yourself up. Cleaning and organizing can also make a huge difference. Because while you're sad for whatever reason, you can actually do something productive in your life. And the fact that while you were sad, you got things done is gonna make you happy. You're gonna be thinking, well, right now I'm upset about this current situation, but let me clean my house. And the next morning you wake up and you're probably gonna feel a little better. And on top of that, you're gonna be waking up to a clean home, and you will be so excited because, hey, look, I didn't waste my time. I actually did something great. You can also get things done that you've been procrastinating on. A lot of times when we're completely happy, guess what happens? We become lazy because we just want to enjoy ourselves and not do what is hard, not do what we're supposed to do. During the hard times, it gives us that boost. You know what? Right now, you need to really buckle down and get things done, because this right now is a great opportunity when you have your time, when you have all the drive that you need to have, especially for people that are creative. Get creative. There are so many things that you can do. You can write a story, you can write a poem, and this really helps you vent. It helps you to put your emotions on paper, read them over, and in many cases, it's not gonna look as bad. You're gonna write everything down and you're gonna feel like, oh wow, this is not actually that bad. Or maybe there's something I can do about it. Or this is just silly, and you can just laugh about it. Every single situation can seem so much more complicated in your head until you put it on paper. So here's what I learned from my grandmother. She said, if you feel really bad, write it down and then burn it and flush it in the toilet. And I can tell you, I have tried that and it worked. A lot of times, writing a journal helps. You write down things that happen, then you read back and you're like, oh my goodness, silly me. Why was I even upset? Or, wow, here's a lesson learned. So it is always very beneficial to put your thoughts on paper and get creative in one way or another. I have seen people that went through horrendous situations in their lives, and they are as happy as can be. They figured out the ways to overcome. It's wonderful to have happy people around you who can lift you up. And if you are not a happy person within yourself, if it's not your goal to be happy, then you're gonna just draw people that are unhappy into your life. A bunch of miserable people can only produce sadness, misery, depression, and the list goes on. Happy people, on the other hand, produce happiness, inspiration, motivation, support, advice, suggestion, ways to figure things out, and so much more. That is why I want these videos to be the source of happiness for you. Remember, no matter what happens in your life, it's okay. Because in every situation, you either enjoy it or you learn something. Discover the power of personal education. Research all these things that affect us as human beings on so many different levels. The ways to heal, the ways to recover, the ways to step away outside of your comfort zone and come back into your happy place. All those things, they mean a lot for us, because once we master how to stay happy despite of what comes our way, even though sometimes we snap out of this mode and feel sad, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be frustrated sometimes, until you figure it out, of course. When you know sadness, you can experience happiness. If you never experience sadness, if you never experience loss, you would not appreciate happiness and having people in your life and really treasuring the moments that you have with these people. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment, subscribe if you like this video, if you find it valuable. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it makes a difference in your life. And of course, remember, dreams don't just come true, we make them real. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.